Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Daily Word. I'm Pastor Jennifer. I'm really glad that you're starting your week here with the pastors at MDUMC. We continue in our worship series, Keep, Stop, Start. And the idea around that whole series is an invitation to all of you and all of us to examine our lives a bit. We are living in a very strange time, but in some ways, this total upheaval of schedule and routine and normalcy has created some space for us to consider what are those practices that sustain us and nurture us that we want to keep or continue doing. What are those things that we want to stop doing, that we've discerned are no longer serving us well? What do we choose to start doing as a result of this time? The question this week is stop. What are those practices that we no longer find room for or find a good place for in our lives? As I considered this, I thought about the ways that our shifting schedule and all of the changes we've experienced in the last 6 months or so have resulted in me having more time at home than I did before. For better or worse, some of those moments were challenging at home. Some of them were really lovely and beautiful. And in some ways, time and all of the things that we have to accomplish in any given day or week have been decompressed just a little bit. And I found that to be good and fruitful ground for my relationship with God and my relationship with those closest to me to grow and to flourish. This brings to mind a verse from a psalm that I read recently. This is Psalm 127. Verse 2 says, "It is pointless that you should get up early and stay up late, eating the bread of hard labor, because God gives sleep or rest to those he loves." I started thinking about those tendencies that I have to fill every hour, every margin of time with something to do. It's really easy to stay busy when you're in ministry, and there is plenty of good work to be done. But this season has been a good time for me to consider the things that are the most fruitful, the things that are the most meaningful spend of my time, and those things that I could use my time doing differently. I'm committing to not taking up those busy things anymore, just for the sake of being busy or hustling or showing that I am of value, but to consider carefully how I'm using my time so that there's more margin for the people who depend on me, and there's more margin for an encounter with God, maybe when I least expect it. So I am feeling the discernment to stop being so busy just for the sake of busyness, and to take up time with people, to take up the practice of Sabbath rest that God has set forth for us from the beginning of time. I haven't been very good about taking Sabbath, but the first step for me to start a practice of true Sabbath and rest and connection with people is to stop filling my calendar with the things that don't really need to be there. So if that's you and that resonates, I'd like to hear from you. Just let me know, what are those things that God is calling you to stop doing in this time and going forward as we find our new normal together? I'm glad that you've joined me for this daily word, and I hope that you will continue to engage with us throughout this week. All of the pastors will be answering this question for themselves and hopefully making some connections with our community too. But we want to hear from you and hear how it's going, and if we can be in prayer for you as you discern your new normal, just let us know. Blessings to you as you journey through this week.